Hey, spooky parents. We want to help promote an awesome alternative clothing brand from the Midwest made just for you ghouls. It's Feral Mama. The brand was started by Gretchen, a mother of 4 living in Cleveland, Ohio, who is a trained doula and has a passion for supporting motherhood and other mothers who are struggling with mental illness, postpartum depression, and mothers who are struggling to find a support group for other alternative mothers. Since she started her business, she has found an awesome community that has supported her through thick and thin. We support her on this mission as parents ourselves. Feral Mama has lots of comfy t-shirts with spooky designs for mostly mamas, but also some unisex options are available for any of you papas or caregivers out there. She also sells kids shirts from time to time, as well as hoodies, crew neck, long sleeve shirts, patches, pins, mugs, and some other really cute bags. You can use my code OscureIvy to get 10% off your first order using the link in the description on our Instagram or even on our YouTube, feralmamashop.com/OscureIvy. That's feralmamashop.com/OscureIvy. By supporting her, you will also be helping us continue to do what we do. It can take anywhere between 14 to 21 business days to receive your order, but remember, she is only one person. So go support your local Feral Mama today. Remember to support small businesses, women, and of course, badass mamas everywhere.
The Midwest, home sweet home in good old Indiana. Place of small towns, cozy families gathered together, and fields of corn and rustic woods. But, like any town, there is a dark underbelly that often goes unnoted. We are part of that darkness. We lurk in the shadows to bring you the best in horror, metal, and stories of the grotesque. This is Blood in the Cornfields.
All right, welcome in, Cellar Dwellers.
It's season 3!
Season 3.
Yeah.
Yes, it is season 3.
I know we let season 2 go on a little bit long, but we'll keep it a little concise this time.
We can do whatever the hell we want.
Well, of course, because it's our goddamn show. We can do whatever we want.
Absolutely. So, we are back a little bit. We did take a little bit of a break, so sorry. Y'all were missing us.
We missed you too.
Very much. We have a guest with us today for our episode.
Yes.
Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, sir?
My name's Adam, and I run the Indie Auto Expo page on Instagram. My motto is I love cars and the stories they tell, and love meeting people to tell the stories. So just happy to be here.
Sweet.
Yeah, we came across you. My sister's boyfriend is good friends with you, and has gone to school with you, and they hit us up letting us know that, hey, he's looking to expand, his page and all that, and my sister was like, I know you have a lot of horror movie cars that you are obsessing over. You should probably talk about them. And, because my dad, he got me into a love of cars. I don't know a whole shit ton at all.
I don't know jack shit.
No, but, I can appreciate a nice-looking car,
Which is good, because if he knows about it and we don't, then hey, that kind of cancels us out.
Man.
But yeah, so that kind of sets us up. We're because initially when you find out, he likes cars, he's into cars, you might be thinking what? How is that gonna, cross?
Tie into anything. Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna make it work. We're gonna make this shit work.
There are so many cars in horror, it's not even funny. And also, it's summer. You have car shows that are going on all the time.
Absolutely.
What better time to talk about it than now?
Find some new audience.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Cheers.
So, since we had a bit of a gap, you know how we love to kind of fill y'all in on what's going on. I've got a lot of good information. I'm going to start off with some things that are more related to the podcast first. So, going to remind y'all that my site, our site, Creeperware, check it out on Etsy. You can order shirts. I'm trying to do designs for other stuff to just have other shirts on there because I don't want it to be bare.
Yeah.
It still is a little bit bare. This is not my main focus, so it's going to be kind of bare. But it's a spot for if you want, Blood in the Cornfield shirts. We got the cartoon one. We have the logo and Cellar Dweller on the back, which I absolutely love. Let me know if y'all want it in different colors. I'll change it, because right now I just did what my tattoo is. Yeah. It's the purple and the yellow outline. And then we have the traditional logo one as well, too. And then I've got some other weird ones on there. I don't know. I want to make a snacks queen one because that's what I called my daughter.
That's cute.
She literally just snacks all the time.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I secretly want to put snacks
like
queens
Snack
on there.
Monster or something like that.
Yes, shameless plug for our site for merch, Creeperware on Etsy. Go ahead and check it out. That also kind of leads me into another promotional thing, and I'm shamelessly plugging this myself. So I think it was maybe an episode or two I reached out to you guys because I was stoked that I talked to a local tattoo artist that had a picture of Chop Top.
Oh, yeah.
And I was going to like change some of the writing and shit. Well, got the okay. Her name is Caitlin. She's currently an apprentice there. And where it is. They're at Mystic Union, which used to be Bicycle Tattoo and Piercing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they're just opening up in South Bend.
Awesome.
I don't know if they're fully open. I just saw on Instagram they were like showing the front. The door looks amazing. The shop, haven't seen inside, but it looks pretty badass. So go check that out. She's one of the artists. There's a plethora of others. They have them up top there. But yes, shameless plug. And I'm mainly doing that because I don't want her to back out of this damn Chop Top tattoo. So I'm like, Caitlin, I know you don't know me, but I'm holding you accountable by mentioning you here in this shameless plug.
Yeah,
so.
just looking at their Instagram, they got some good shit.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and this will be the only other person. Actually, take that back. I've had other people tattoo me. Sorry, I wanted to kind of give you something.
You're a slut.
Yeah, listen, I'm just trying to put my shit out there. She has a Chop Top little drawing, and that's fucking badass.
That is.
Texas 2 is my favorite shit. So, Mystic Union, South Bend, tattooing, check it out. Looks pretty sweet. On to other orders. I guess I'll bring this one up. So we have an event. Woo!
We do. We have
the confetti and fucking streamers and shit. So we have an event. I know we kind of talked about it and we were a little bit vague. Mm-hmm. We now have details.
We do.
The show is going to be September 27th at 8 p.m. in Lang Lab in South Bend. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a little bit of a variety type show. So some different things going on. We're going to have a couple different things. So we're going to have a short film by David Boyer called Naptime Deary.
It's a really
Love
good...
how I spelled that there.
Yeah. Oh,
I kind of
looks great.
Well, I stopped writing afterwards because I'm like, I already know what it is. Tim Wollick, who we had on the show season 1, 2, hell, I don't remember. Like previously, go check it out. It's on YouTube. It's one of those video ones. He's going to be showing some advertisements, promos that he has, some trailers
for his 2 movies, Killer...
I have the posters up in my room. So it's Sorry, Tim. Man, Tim, you're making me. The one's purple. It's Princess Spooky, and it's clowns. I'm
beware.
Yeah, beware of clowns, dude. I've got both your posters up.
Same.
If you creep my Instagram, you will totally see it there, Tim.
Yep,
I just couldn't remember.
They're there. Sorry, dude.
We've been going through a lot of shit. Look, all this is off the top of my head. Yeah. Okay, so Tim's going to be presenting some trailers. We have Leatherface be playing.
Yes,
so
Jared, our good friend, is going to play a couple songs for us.
Absolutely. A little song and dance.
They're going to rock it out. They're awesome. They're a punk band. So.
Sweet. And then the evening is going to close with a screening of Cult of Blood.
And this is a film by Robbie Lopez, which we will actually have a little sneak peek for you at some point as far as the trailer, as well as we do have an interview with them, and it'll be tied to a true crime episode.
Hell yes. It's got Felissa Rose in it from Sleepaway Camp, the main character in Sleepaway Camp.
We also have Dave Sheridan in it as well. I'm trying to remember what movies he's in. I know
there's quite a few.
He's in a lot. He's in Scary Movie, Ghost World.
Yep.
Bubble Boy, Devil's Rejects.
I loved Bubble Boy. Jake Gyllenhaal was pretty sweet in that.
I remember seeing that as a kid.
Sweet. So yeah, Cult of Blood. So it's going to be kind of a variety show. Definitely unique. I can't say that I've ever been to a show like this, and I think it's badass that it's going to be our first one. So
yeah,
really excited for that. Again, that's going to be September 28th.
Mark your calendars. Yes. Hell, we're not.
I said September 28th.
Did you for real?
It's September 27th at 8 p.m.
Okay, September 27th. Mark it down. Get it right. Doors open at 7:30. Lang Lab. Be there. Thank you.
Exactly. I'm going to stop saying it so I don't screw it up anymore. All right.
We'll put the right date up there. Luke will help us.
Yes, don't listen. Whatever you do, don't fucking listen to me. It's just straight up nonsense. So, random shit. There's a lot of stuff going on because it's been a minute. So I'm trying to just kind of pick some of the loose things.
Absolutely.
I went and saw Longlegs. Not going to tell you shit about it.
That's okay. I don't need to know shit about it at the moment. I do want to see it. My husband saw a screening of it. Luke did.
Okay.
And he really enjoyed it.
Sweet.
It seems unanimous. Everybody really likes it. I have another friend that watched it and really enjoyed it. So it's like...
The only thing I'll say is I need to watch it again.
Really?
I need to watch it again. Yep, absolutely. So not going to talk about that. How dare you get me to talk about that? But there is an interesting looking movie. It's called Cuckoo.
Oh.
It opens up August 9th. I don't know much about it.
I'm so excited about it. You have no idea. It's a body horror movie.
I thought so.
My favorite kind.
I watched the trailer like 2 weeks ago, and then literally as I'm writing my notes for the show at my house, it comes on, and I'm like, yeah, I wanted to see that. So I
my God,
kind of wrote
there
down
was
that trailer.
a screening or there was a trailer for Cuckoo in front of Longlegs when my husband
That's
went.
right, there was.
And then he literally showed me the trailer as soon as he got home, and I'm like,
So fucking
fuck.
Looks unique.
Yeah.
Looks unique.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm so excited about
I will
that.
see the shit out of that movie, but I'm just worried about the children. As long as the children don't get hurt, I don't give a shit.
Oh, there's going to be children mutilated in that bitch.
Oh, shut up.
So, August 9th, if you want to see children die, Cuckoo.
Jesus, fuck you.
So, August 9th, it comes out. So, one thing, I'm totally excited. Totally excited.
I saw that. Did I send it to you?
I don't know. Are you going to talk about this one? Oh, you better not talk about that one.
No, that's for you.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about that one. Don't worry about the rest of the stuff.
Yep.
We'll get there.
Nope, that's fine.
King Diamond is touring the United States. I know nobody else probably that listens to this is going to be as excited as me, other than my close personal friends, Mikey, Neil. I am so fucking excited about this. Like,
Dude, in Indianapolis, right?
Indianapolis, I'm going. I do not care if I have to drive to Philly. I don't fucking care if I got to drive to Cincy, Detroit, whatever. Right now, currently in Indy, but I'm a poor man at the moment because I spent too much damn money on my daughter. Mm-hmm. So, God honest truth.
I get that.
Yeah, so I'm waiting.
That's my son with snacks.
I'm waiting till next week to buy me and Mikey tickets.
Oh my God.
Oh, fucking me and Mikey are going. So yeah, I'm totally excited for that.
When is he playing?
It's like, I want to say King Diamond is like, it's in October that he's in Indy.
Oh my God.
I don't remember when, but I've wanted to see King Diamond for
Luke, you want a date night? Let's go.
Oh, shit.
That'd be cool.
And it's in the theater too.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's
See,
in
that's
the theater.
that's how you should have King Diamond. It's in a goddamn
shit,
theater because
yes.
that man just performs. You know anything about? That's okay.
Don't even worry about it, because if you looked at it, you would probably be like, what the fuck is this? You have to understand.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful.
It's art.
Absolutely beautiful. For those of you who even compare him to Ghost or has anything to do with Ghost,
go fuck yourself.
You should be kicked in the scrotum.
Yep.
Vagina or balls, whichever you
I don't
have.
give a shit.
Both, if you have both.
I'll drink
don't
to that.
care. Yep.
Go fuck
And
yourself.
then, yeah, I'll kick you in your asshole too. So, King Diamond's amazing. New Fit for an Autopsy album comes out October 25th. They released a song.
I'm glad you also saw that because I was going to say something.
They released a song. I don't even remember what the song is because Fit for an Autopsy has melody. When the fuck have they ever had melody?
You know, that's what
That's why I lost the name of the song, because I'm like, what the hell is going on?
I'm a little disappointed.
Is this As I Lay Autopsy?
That's fucking good.
So, yeah, I don't know, but it's not bad, because... So, I did backing vocals in bands I was in, and so I am a sucker for melody. Those of you, I know I'm a sissy. Melodic metal has a special place in my heart just because I fucking love it. So I'm not against it, but I just was like, Like,
no, I completely agree with you there. Because I feel the same way. I like melody in metal. I think it's okay when, especially if a band's been doing the hard shit all their lives, and then all of a sudden, clean lyrics.
Yeah,
I can actually understand what the fuck you're saying. It's like it's a nice breath of fresh air once in a while, and if the song by itself sounds good with it, I'm welcoming it.
Mm-hmm.
If you sound like shit, though, when you sing in melody, get the fuck off my stage. I don't need this. And honestly, this was not offensive.
No. It was a good song. I'm going to give it a another listen because it came out this past Friday, but my schedule's been stupid. So, yeah, excited for that. Amazing band. Their vocalist is phenomenal. He does rough with clarity, almost better than anyone else. I would maybe say Phil from Whitechapel is better than him. But other than that, it's about as good as it gets. What you got?
All right, so I got two things. Just shameless promotion again, just not for us, it's for other people. Steve Frito, I don't know if you remember him, but we've worked with him multiple times. We did the Moth Hour show with him.
Two of them.
Two of them, yes, we did. At Lang Lab, and then another one at Iron Hand.
Yeah, the wine place.
Yep. So we both
had
did.
good apps.
They did.
Plug that place. They have good.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Iron Hand Winery?
Iron Hand Winery,
yeah.
yes.
Oh my God. Their fries are fucking good.
Yeah.
You guys need to go. Just go.
Yeah.
It's so good. And the atmosphere is nice. It's welcoming.
It's a good spot, too.
It's nice,
It's a good spot.
It's out of the way.
Yeah,
I like that a lot. But he is doing... on all days, Friday the 13th, a beer run.
You blasphemous. Oh.
So his beer run, he's actually done a shit ton of them in the past.
BEERUN, beer run.
So you're not actually running. Let's just get that out of the way. You are actually just basically taking a walk around Goshen, and you're going to 3 different locations. You'll start at GB Co., then you'll go to the Spring to get some snacks and maybe do a shot, and then Elephant Bar is going to be where you're going to end up, and they're probably going to do a costume contest or something like that. And they have a theme for every year, and this particular theme is Emo Night, so join the Black Parade. However you feel about that is up to you.
My Chemical Romance.
That is. Yeah. It is. And, like I said, we do not judge here, so... if you like that sort of stuff, go for it. I definitely want to support Steve in any way, shape, or form. Please go register on his Instagram.
Yeah.
He has an Eventbrite. He has it on both places. We'll try to make sure we have a link for it so that way you guys can register. It's going to be here in Goshen, obviously. But it'll be awesome to see people in clothes that I remember when I was a kid and kind of participated in for 1 year as a junior?
Junior.
Yeah, junior. Junior year of high school. I literally had a weird phase. I went through, so goth was my main one, obviously, freshman, sophomore year. Then I went through an emo phase. Okay. Absolutely hated the music, but I was trying my best to
just pull the look off.
Trying.
Yeah.
And then my mom and dad had enough of me. And so my senior year was hipster. And I'm like,
sweet.
All right, this is where I'm at now. And of course, I'm mama goth now, so I went back to my roots.
So I'm going to help Steve out by pitching some suggestions.
Yeah.
And my suggestion should be, are we doing challenges or obstacles in between these walks?
That would be really cool. Yeah. I know he used to do like a snack stop, a snack break, but I think that's what the Spring is.
Do some stupid challenge.
Oh my God, like do the tires or something like that. I don't know. Do it emo themed. If that's the theme that you're going with, don't do insensitive.
Sing off.
Dude.
Yeah.
Steve.
A sing off.
Do a sing off. Do something like that.
You can do a sing off, and then you can be named that emo song.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Dude, we're full of ideas.
Yeah. I'm an idea man. That's what I've always been an idea man. But there you go, Steve. I'm getting the ball rolling for you.
Yeah, so definitely go check that out. Go register if you can. Even if you don't like emo music, just do it. It's going to be a fun time. And then also, one other shameless plug is Chad Savage. He's an artist from South Bend. He is fucking phenomenal. I met him at a goth show at Lang Lab. He is great. I like him a lot. He's got wonderful artwork. I have to show you. He did this awesome, it's like this awesome drawing or sticker of Angela.
Okay.
Night of the Demons.
Yeah.
Yeah. He did several other kind of like obscure characters.
Like portraits and stuff?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hold on. Let me.
Because that's my shit that when I go to the conventions, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I love the art and stuff like that.
He's really fucking good.
Awesome.
I know this doesn't really do him justice.
Oh, is this the haunted house guy?
This is the haunted house guy. So he actually...
I will be blowing you up and slutting myself out to try and get involved with your haunted house, sir. So just fend off any unwanted DMs. I don't really know. I'm being vague.
Yeah, so go check out... That's okay. Go check out Chad on Instagram. That's Chad Savage. He goes by Sinister. He's got awesome artwork, man. I mean, if I wasn't such a pussy, I would get one of his artworks tattooed on me. Like, he's that good. He's fucking great.
Or maybe see Caitlin at Mystic Union Tattoo.
Maybe her.
Oh, I'm just plugging away here.
No, we should. We just need to plug.
I'm putting it out in the ether that when she's ready, I don't care if she really is not that great. Her sketches are awesome, so I have full confidence. But I'm like, hey, guinea pig me up. It's Chop Top. It doesn't have to look like fucking...
You said that you would fuck Chop Top, so I think you need to get it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a given. And no, I said technically...
He's your man.
I would lick his plate.
But we know what that means, Mark.
Oh, man. Okay. I guess with licking his plate, that's where we get off into the episode. That's a fucking jumping off point if I've ever heard one. So, we're going to talk about cars, horror movies, how they're associated, some of the most famous ones. We've got our car guru, so he can talk about lever switches and pin pistons and toe taps and whisker doodles and stuff, you know? Go ahead. I don't know.
I'll just throw
cannonball it in there.
I'll just throw out names.
Throw it out.
No horror car movie would ever be complete without Christine.
Maybe the most famous?
When you think of, like, cars and horror, that's immediately what I think of as Christine.
Yeah.
So, of course, you know Christine. Just a little bit of backstory about it. Christine was published in 1983 by Stephen King. The funny thing about it is that literally because Stephen King was so popular at this time, this was after Carrie and a couple others that he had done, he was so popular at the time that film went to production before the novel was even finished.
That's confidence.
And that makes sense why, because in 1983, John Carpenter was the director on it. So literally came out the same exact year.
Royalty.
Bow down. Awesome, man.
Royalty. John Carpenter also does random. He does guest appearances on some, like, new age poppy type stuff. Like he does a voice in for the band Gunship.
Ooh.
There's also, I think they're called Dance with the Dead, that he does an outro spoken word on.
Oh, that's cool.
He's lent his vocals in spoken word format for quite a few bands.
Hey, John Carpenter, will you do an opening for us?
Oh my gosh.
Dude, could you imagine?
Dude, I don't even...
Can we hit him up on Cameo? Like, dude, come on now.
Just,
do an opening
rip his shit, not even get his permission. Hey!
Oh, I don't know if I can do that, man. I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah, no, I can't even answer, how I would feel. I'd just draw a blank.
So if you don't know what the story of Christine is about, it's about a possessed 1958 Plymouth Fury. Everybody fucking knows the Plymouth Fury. That ends up possessing a kind of geeky, nerdy kid named Arnie. And then he buys it from, like, this kind of crotchety old guy. And then his friend Dennis, who's, like, this big jock, ends up kind of, like, seeing that he's really changing the more he spends time with this vehicle, trying to fix it up and make it work. And then, obviously, bad things ensue after that. It's just an amazing movie. I don't know how else to describe it. I remember reading the book in high school. It's a thick book, too, as most Stephen King books tend to be. And it was just compelling, just kind of watching Arnie kind of go through this transition of becoming this completely different person. As far as, like, the car itself, God, what a sleek car.
Yeah, I was going to say, what kind of makes it most iconic and stand out from other cars?
Mm-hmm.
Like...
I think what's interesting about that one in particular is it's just an old car. Like, they all have that design language that makes them special. And, like, particularly, like, in the beginning of the movie, it wasn't anything special. And it kind of focuses in on his relationship with the car and on making it something that was his own. And kind of, a lot of people, as they drive their cars, sort of give it a personality.
Oh,
as
right.
They go.
They
And
usually
it's
call
like,
it a name. Anyway.
Yeah, it's like a parody of, not necessarily a parody, but like a play on how people build a relationship with their car. Like they do that for real, but like the film just took it further. And
it's like My Strange Addiction.
Yeah, I imagine that's probably how Stephen King like got the idea to write that. Was like, wow, that's funny how people like personify
So
their
many
car like
people.
that. What
So
if
many
that
people
really
name their
happened?
car. Yeah.
Yeah. Hell, I remember naming my cars. Hell, my car's name is Valkyrie. It's got me through shit, and yet it is kind of shit.
That's funny. My car's name right now is Beatrice because
that's cool.
It's hilarious because my friend says it's a grandma car.
Yeah.
So I gave it a grandma name.
That's
So
cute.
it's
I like
Beatrice.
that. What is your car?
Ford Fusion.
Okay.
Ford Fusion.
It's a Ford Fusion Sport. So
Oh, so it's sporty.
Okay, it's sporty.
That's
yeah,
sporty.
it's supposed to be. But
Yeah.
my friend's like, nah, it's a grandma car. Dude. So,
Mine's a Hyundai Sonata, but like the sportier version of the car. But it's like it's 2018, whenever the fuck it came out. You know.
I got a Kia. I drive a fucking Kia.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Another thing I would say about just kind of the relationship in that film is it's a great instance of how important cars were to people during that time, and even like still now today, sort of after World War II and on, teens that wanted to be rebellious, that wanted to get away
That
from
independence.
their parents. Yeah, they needed their own car, and it was becoming the first time where we were ever well off enough so kids could have their own cars.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it meant a great deal to people, like their cars did. And I think a lot of times they play on that by making your car in the film sort of betray you. Like there's the trope of like the killer's coming, so you run and get in your car and like start it.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like,
Start.
And it doesn't start.
Yeah, and it's like that's an instance of like that's the one thing that kind of teenagers at that time trust more than anything is their car. Like that's
It's their freedom. Yeah.
and it lets them down in the horror movie.
And-
So
and-
I think that was for sure targeted towards them.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Even in any 80s movie, if you'll kind of look back in your head, there are so many scenes, just famous scenes, not famous scenes, just thrown in there of people washing their car. Like in
True.
80s comedies and 80s
Yeah.
movies, they're always washing their car
Waxing
and taking
it,
care
wax
of
on, wax off. You fucking got in the Karate Kid.
Yeah, doing all that. You don't see that nowadays. You don't see that in films. Like people waxing their car
That's
and washing
true.
their cars.
Focus on it, so.
I think it plays into kind of what you're describing with that's the first real like boom and generation to where you can be a youngster and have your own car, and so taking care of it's important.
I think-
Kind of like naming it too.
What I would also add to that is there's just less car shots. Like
Yeah.
Oh,
in
true.
old horror movies, they kind of focused on like when people arrived to their destination, they would show their car and show it there, or they
Yeah.
would show them outside.
Show the car
restaurant,
pulling in and shit.
Yeah, that type of stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
I
now
agree.
they sort of took that away. And then the one other thing I would add is, in addition to them sort of taking away the car shots like that, they've also just started to move away from the focus on just cars in general. Like they've moved away from them being involved so much in horror. Like now it's not thought about as much as it is. And I don't necessarily think it's because it's not an important part of culture anymore. It's just because it's been an important part of culture for so long.
That makes
it's not
sense.
new and it's not innovative anymore, I guess.
That makes sense. And especially, you see in like a lot of TV shows, even from, even mimicking that time. So for example, you see Happy Days. Even though that was a show made in the 70s, that's about the 50s. The thing was about that is like, Richie getting his first car was a big deal. And I'm sure it was at that time. Whereas now it's oversaturated. Of course, that's a coming of age
It's an understanding.
thing. It's no shit. It's going to happen. So that makes sense. And the other thing, to kind of go back to what you were saying about just kind of the freedom. The one thing when Arnie starts getting really attached to his cars, he starts adapting to that time period. If you notice, he starts having his hair slicked back like a greaser because it's a 1958 Fury. He starts kind of being more rebellious with it, kind of pulling a James Dean.
Yeah.
Hell, his girlfriend's starting to like choke on fucking popcorn while they're in a drive-in. He doesn't give a shit about about her. He's just worried about the fucking car. Did you fucking snag the thing? You know, the seats? So yeah, no, I think that's awesome. I remember one time too, also when I listened to the commentary. Nice thing about having DVDs,
Special edition,
is that I remember the actor Keith Gordon that played Arnie. He said that every time that he touched Christine, he made himself think that he was touching a woman. So that way it just added this more kind of like, ooh, yeah, you know,
More
this kind of feel about it. And there's like this one particular scene, I will never forget this because it sticks out in your memory. It's the first time when Christine kills somebody. And it's the bully. Like, he corners him and she rams herself into him and busts herself fucking up, you know? And like, she pulls out, she goes into she pulls herself back into the garage and she starts fixing herself. Well, I think the director told him, hey, think about it as a girl taking off her clothes and react that way. And so you can see it in his eyes. He's just intently staring at her as she's fixing herself and, you know, fixing the broken glass and everything. And it's like, that's an incredible way to look at it. Like, this car has really become like his girlfriend. Yes, it helped him get the chick. No, this is his girlfriend. Yeah, so that's pretty neat. Real quick tidbits about the car.
Yeah.
The Plymouth Fury was sold in 2004 for more than 100. Help me out.
Oh,
what is that number?
$167,000.
Thank you. God damn, that's hard.
That's all right.
And 15% of the budget was just in cars alone. All about 2 were destroyed. Yeah. So I think that's pretty neat. Just kind of, Christine is a legacy. I wonder, I don't know this for a fact, I wonder if Plymouth Furies became more popular. I don't know, were they even produced after that time period, after 1980s? Just a Plymouth in general? Where did it go after that?
Well, I'm not sure specifically, like, when they were produced, like, compared to when the movie was produced. But I would assume that they were already kind of like
on their way out.
Yeah, on their way out or not made anymore because like surely they picked a car that was kind of old because like in the beginning it was like an old clunker or something.
Yeah.
You know?
And
so, like,
you can't have multiples of an expensive ass car. It's just going to ruin your budget, you know.
Well, and then that's the other thing too. I think, and I don't know for a fact, Luke, you can fact check me. I think one of the reasons why Stephen King chose a Plymouth Fury is because it was on its way out. It wasn't a very popular car. Everybody had the Thunder, you know, the T-Birds.
Yeah.
That was a big deal. You saw it in like American Graffiti and Happy Days. You know, that's like, and you see it at all the fucking classic car shows all the time. You know. So
am I mistaken, or is there a cover for this movie? Because I keep seeing the grill in my mind.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's, to me, that's what stands out about this is, and I can't really tell you any distinct features of the grill, but I just remember seeing the grill. And I don't know. Go ahead. I mean,
also,
give some
on
of that.
One, it like was running over a person.
Was it?
Yeah. Was it really? Oh my god!
I just remember the grill.
The version I saw.
That's cool. I need to see that.
Yeah, it was like there's a hand like reaching out.
Okay.
It,
I'm remembering that now.
Cool.
Because that's the same cover I'm thinking of.
Cover art.
Yeah. So yeah, that's one of them.
That's
Absolutely.
Cool. That's cool.
It's kind of ominous.
With the headlights.
What's that word?
Ominous?
Yes! So you help me out with words, and I'll help you out with numbers.
I appreciate that.
And we're good.
Got everything covered.
Yeah.
So let's go on to the next.
I got you on this one. So this is one that was near and dear to me as a child.
Absolutely. Another Stephen King.
Maximum Overdrive. We are sticking with Stephen King. So this was a 1986 film. Starred one of my all-time favorite 80s actors, Emilio Estevez. Absolutely love him in so much stuff. Young Guns.
Can I add one thing?
Ahead. I love Young Guns.
Yeardley Smith is in this. Lisa Simpson herself.
Oh yes, as she's young.
Yeah, she's like the married couple.
Yeah,
she's
she
like
does.
the chick.
Yep, she does a lot of screams and stuff in it. Yes, absolutely.
Sorry, I had to add that.
No, you're good. So AC/DC did the soundtrack for this, and this was something that stuck out for me as a kid because I grew up fucking loving AC/DC. Not the Back in Black. Go fuck yourself, Brian Johnson.
Oh man, dude. I mean, I get it. It's a classic, but yeah.
Bon Scott's where it's at, man.
Oh, no, I completely agree. Bon Scott's voice is fucking amazing.
Yes. Not only that, just as a front man.
Oh, man, he had the energy.
I'll be nice and say top 10 because I was gonna say top 5. To me, he's top 10 vocalist.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Period. Absolutely love AC/DC. So I had to give a shout out for that. But it's a 1981 Western Star semi. I don't know anything really much more than that.
Know that.
Yeah, but you'll know it because it's the Happy Toys truck. So it says Happy Toys on the back of it. But you'll know it because of the Green Goblin face and head. Now, I know that this Green Goblin has been duplicated and featured on several different semis since then.
That's fucking cool.
And it was actually at a convention that I went to.
No.
Oh, yeah, they had it parked in the
man, I
parking
would
lot.
have fucking taken pictures, but my dad loved
I'm
this
so
fucking
horrible.
movie, man.
So my brain just goes, oh, that's cool, and then thinks nothing else. Doesn't say, hey, dumbass, take a picture. It never does. I'm just like, oh, that's cool, and then I walk away.
You know what? To be real, they had like a whole fucking at Goshen Brewing Company. They had a whole fucking row of DeLoreans that were out there. And I'm like, why the fuck didn't I go to that? I would have been living my kid's ultimate dream. Oh shit, I missed that. But yeah.
So yeah, that's what it's known for, is that Green Goblin head on there. Now in Maximum Overdrive, there's a comet trail that gets in the path of Earth, and it like causes these machines to be able to turn on and control themselves, radios, pop machines, vehicles. So there are more than one vehicles in this movie, but the most famous one is the Happy Toy semi truck with the goblin face on it. So it's pretty sweet. I don't know if there's any distinct things about this semi or anything that you know of.
Yeah, there's not a great deal that I know that I could say about it, but what I would certainly say is definitely like the type of vehicle, the shape of it, the size of it, kind of like they all have their own personality already. So like when they were trying to make characters for the show, like they could pick the personality of vehicles that they already saw. Like so when they wanted something big and imposing, they could pick out the semi and then throw something on top of that to add to it,
Yeah.
So I think that's most of what I can say about that is like, for sure, just the type of vehicle has a personality of its own.
Yeah.
It goes into play in like some of the other movies I would talk about, like the Jeepers Creepers thing, for sure. I think of that as similar as like, that's a weird vehicle. Never seen one of those before.
Yeah.
But it's also just a large thing that's like sort of hulking and like just ominous.
Absolutely.
Say that word because I can't.
Here's the thing about that, like fucking semis in general, like even if you're just passing highways, like fuck, things beside me.
It gives off like an impression of a tank almost. In the movie that it's like almost indestructible. I think it's like Emilio Estevez shoots it with a rocket launcher. But yeah, it also kind of factors into that. And I think just the goblin head is the creepy, like, face identifying character about the semi-truck that just puts it over the top is pretty damn iconic in horror.
Something else I would say is I think it's interesting that they chose something that was unique, like just kind of a little strange in a way, because like if they just wanted a vehicle that was scary, again, they could have went to like the furthest extent and like they could have took a tank,
No
like they could have put a goblin face on a tank.
Right.
That wouldn't really be scary. It's like, that's just like, I think it's kind of the difference between like horror and action. It's like,
absolutely.
if you go too far with it, like it becomes an action movie. Yeah, like it sounds like more or less the same plot as this is Transformers. It's all really cool cars in there.
No kidding.
There's no Megan Fox in Maximum Overdrive. We don't need her.
Camaros, get them out of here.
Yeah, wait, now you damn
There's
stinking
nothing
Camaros.
scary about them. Fucking Bumblebee can go fuck himself.
Yeah, we don't need that shit.
No, that's cool. The funny thing about Maximum Overdrive is that Stephen King calls this his worst The worst movie ever.
What? No way. No way.
Because it was his directorial debut.
Oh, no way.
This was the
love
first.
This movie.
This was the first. I do too.
Oh.
He needs to not be embarrassed about this. Neither does Yeardley Smith. Like
embarrassed. I'd have it on a T-shirt.
Yeah,
I was in Maximum Overdrive. You want my picture?
The goblin.
The goblin face? Man, everybody fucking knows what that is. I don't give a shit. You think it's Spider-Man? Get out of here, you uncultured swine. It's Stephen King.
Oh, man.
The funny thing about Stephen King, the only thing I remember about this is that there was like my dad showed it to me back when we had dial-up internet. And like he tried to show me a trailer for Maximum Overdrive because he was describing it to me. Because backstory. So sorry, we're gonna go on a tangent. My dad, when I was a little kid, basically said. Because we had a summer reading program, long story short, and he told me I can never check out anything from the downstairs library as a little, because I was like now becoming a middle schooler.
Wow.
And he had to go upstairs for all the middle school stuff and high school stuff. He goes, you can no longer check out anything downstairs, so no more Goosebumps for you. You got to find something else. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. Oh. And so he guides me over to the Stephen King section. And he goes, look, you would like this. And so I'm like, oh, Stephen King? I don't even know who that is, but check it out. So like he found Maximum Overdrive was actually a collection of short stories in a book called Night Shift. And it was the short story in that was Trucks. So
clever name.
Yeah, exactly. So apparently that's where Maximum Overdrive was based off of. And so he later told me, hey, you really like that? Check out this trailer that I found on dial-up internet that took an hour to download for like a minute and a half thing.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about it is it was Stephen King directly looking at you in the camera and saying, I'm gonna scare the deadlights out of you. Yeah. And I didn't know at that time that he's just like cracked out on fucking coke.
Spend some time in the dark.
Please don't let us be in the dark.
Help me. I'm gonna scare the hell out of you. And that's a promise.
He had to get them books written.
During that whole entire, like, thing, and I'm just like, oh, shit. And there's, like, rumors that apparently George Romero helped, like, direct for him when he was, like, in rehab. Like, dude.
That's awesome.
I believe it. Just the way he looked. Because, like, in the commercial, Luke, you play the commercial, but, like, he's, like, bug-eyed and shit. He's like, I'm gonna scare you.
That's
okay.
Awesome.
But the funny thing is, too, this movie actually helped Evil Dead franchise to continue. Because, literally, this movie was made under the production company of Dino De Laurentiis. And so from there, he basically said, hey, I fucking really liked the first Evil Dead. You all need to, like, help this guy, Sam Raimi, produce another movie. So without Stephen King, Evil Dead could have never continued.
Oh, interesting.
So, just your tidbits for Maximum Overdrive. So, okay, this one is near and dear to my heart. It's The Car from 1977. Ooh. I first saw this movie on Svengoolie. Okay. You guys are familiar with Svengoolie, late night horror host.
He's got his own Toonie Terror.
Yeah, he does. And he's also got his own comic book series now. Also from Michigan. But this film is starring James Brolin. You know him from Amityville Horror. He was George Lutz. He was also in Westworld in 1973, the original Westworld. This is a possessed 1971 Lincoln Continental. Mark III Black Coupe is what they said. And it basically terrorizes a desert town, and a local sheriff has to stop it. So it literally sounds like Jaws.
Kind of, yeah.
It's got like a music track.
Yeah.
As it gets closer.
It kind of does, actually. It's like, it's got like this weird kind of like, as it's getting closer, kind of like Damien shit.
I picture it going like 2 miles an hour and pissing people off. It's like, shut up! What the fuck's your problem?
Get out of here!
Yeah.
So I fucking loved this movie growing up. Like, this was around the same time I finished reading Christine. And so I saw this movie at the perfect time, and I'm like, oh, I love Lincolns now. So, like, I could definitely spot a Lincoln if I ever saw it.
In the Continental, that's a pretty famous line, right? I mean, I've heard about Lincoln Continentals.
Yeah, what do you know about them?
Isn't it like a cop car, like an old cop detective car, or am I just completely?
I mean, maybe it was used in some films, but
maybe
I don't think it would have ever been like
car.
I don't think it ever would have been like a cop car.
No,
it definitely wouldn't have caught anything. Yeah, because it's they're really interesting cars. For one thing, they're absolutely huge. Like they're really,
fucking
really,
huge.
really big.
Yeah, they are boats.
What I think is really interesting about them is they do have like 2 rows of seats. They have a front seat and a back seat.
Okay.
But they only have one door on the side, or at least like the model that I'm thinking of, and it's just like a massive door.
Oh god.
That opens for the front and the back. You just open the one big door like on both sides.
And am I thinking that they're like bench seats?
Oh yeah, everything was bench seats back.
Everything was bench seats back. Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
And like the models I'm thinking of in particular were made in sort of like the emissions crisis in the United States, like in kind of the 80s,
oh, okay.
70s. And so their engines, just all engines in the United States were tuned way down as we started putting emission stuff on them. So they made way less horsepower than they used to. I'm going to look it up real quick, but I would guess a Lincoln, like, maybe made 110 horsepower, and it's probably like a 5,000-pound car. Like, they're massive. So if there was going to be a car that was going to be evil, that's the one for it to be, because it's not catching anything. Like, anybody's getting away from that thing, it is no problem, you know?
It's funny because it miles over like a shit ton of people within that town. You could probably run away from it. It'd take a while to get up. Oh, God.
But they're just really, like, I mean, they're luxury cars. They're not supposed to be fast or anything, but they definitely weren't, too. Mm-hmm. They're just really neat cars. I think some of them had, like, pop-up headlights. Not pop-up headlights, but sort of like eyelid headlights, I guess.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Over them and then, like,
so they look like little eyes, yeah.
Yeah, during the emissions crisis, they were really slow. For a while, they had like a 5-liter V8 engine, and it was just tuned way down. It had all kinds of emission stuff on it, sort of like it was choked up, and cars really didn't get better from, like, the peak of American automobiles was in the 60s, and then the emission stuff started to happen, and everything got way slower, made way less power.
Yeah.
They were making like 500 horsepower on some of the nicer cars back then, and then they didn't really get up to doing that again until like 2000 and like 2005, like sort of in that area, because they just got way better at making the power more efficiently and doing more with smaller engines. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's a really interesting car. They're really cool looking. You certainly can't miss them if you see them, but if there's one chasing you, you don't have a whole lot.
The cool thing about this particular car is that it was customized, built by George Barris. That's the same guy that did the Batmobile for the 1966 TV show. Classic fucking car. I even sat in one of them.
Really?
Yeah. That was actually at the, so they did a George Barris, little segment in a museum that I went to in Houston, Texas. It was at the Funeral Directors Museum.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so they did like a little exhibit about him, and I got to sit in that car.
Cool.
It was fucking cool. But the funny thing about like this particular car is that it has rules established in it. It's like a fucking vampire. It cannot drive on holy ground, and it cannot stand holy water. Those are its 2 things that it can be
throw holy water at it?
Yeah.
And then it can't move?
I think, like, I can't remember exactly what happens. I think it gets thrown off a cliff at the end, but, like, there's this whole scene in the movie where it can't follow a character through a Catholic cemetery, because it's holy ground.
Holy ground.
Yeah.
So does it just drive around?
It just basically stalks him. Yeah. The other thing that really stuck with me in the movie was that it had a red filter or orange filter whenever the car had a POV shot. that was fucking neat to me as like little like, I don't know, whatever fucking age I was probably like 11 years old. I thought that was fucking neat. But this movie was actually inspired by Duel, which was a Steven Spielberg movie about we'll get into more information about that in a little bit. But like I said, it also kind of reminded me of Jaws, which was also a Steven Spielberg movie. But the thing is that the book for Jaws was in 1974, movie was later in 1975. So I don't know if it really had too much to do with it. Maybe it did, because even back then we had movies like Grizzly coming out.
Yeah.
So maybe it did kind of inspire it. It's basically Jaws on land.
Jaws on land. Everyone needs it.
All right. What
next one I got is one of my personal favorites.
Okay.
Jeepers Creepers.
So the less we say about it, the better. I hate that director, dude. I'm sorry.
The original Jeepers Creepers. I love it.
It's a good movie, though.
2001.
Yep.
I don't know if it was really his first film. I doubt it, but it was the first one that I recognized him in.
Clown film.
Justin Long.
Clown House. Oh no, you're talking about
I'm talking about Justin Long.
Oh, Justin Long. Yeah. No, fuck the directors. Never mind.
Yeah. I'm not worried about directors.
I don't give a shit about.
Who cares? Yeah, I don't remember what Justin Long did before this, so for me, it's the first imagery I have of Justin Long being in a horror movie.
Or he dies, because he dies in everything.
Oh, absolutely. And so for me, I've read a little bit about it. I know it's a modified 1941 Chevy COE, so that stands for cab over engine. I don't know what all they modified out of this, but I bet they had to modify the shit out of it. Because it's on some of the more creepy looking vehicles.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, this is up
with the
on
way
top.
it's kind of like fucking rusted and shit, and it's kind of freaky. It's like that thing shouldn't be driving.
They did a good job on this, definitely, for sure.
I agree.
Yeah.
So I don't know much about the actual vehicle in specific because, like, you really can't tell what it is.
Yeah.
Like you said, like, looking under it, like, looking at it, they definitely changed the appearance a great deal to make it what they wanted it to be.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they did really good at making the vehicle kind of fill a role. Like, it is a really interesting vehicle. It makes the whole film way more memorable.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a pseudo character.
It's a character in of itself because it like stalks the kids, doesn't it?
And even though it's not meant to be like a main like character of the movie, like Christine,
right?
And, Maximum Overdrive, those are supposed to be characters. This does play a character role in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it just kind of goes into like they gave it a personality, so it can be a character.
Yeah, to me, it almost looks like a half of a milk truck mixed with like an old utility van or something, and it just has that whole back end kind of minivan-esque, hollowed out back end where he can put the people in, and he has all the shit that goes flying out.
They have like a little cow thing that's like that scoops them up and shit.
All sorts of shit. Yeah, depending on which movie you watch too.
That's true.
Yeah,
it's funny too that it's like a big, like slow-looking vehicle. It's just like unexplainably fast.
Shit, yeah.
And also, because
it'll
like a
be
really
eating
weird
you.
sounding horn that also just makes it terrifying too.
Okay, so because it's so big, is it a truck or a van?
I don't know what it looks like a van. It looks like
it does.
It looks van. And then also you see kind of how he like opens it and stuff. Like it looks van-like to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say van too because of like the the storage aspect and stuff like that. Because it's all enclosed. Yeah, that's mine. I got Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah,
that's all you really have to fucking say.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So I do like though because I rewatching it. There's. Did you see the license plate?
Be eating you.
Be eating?
Yeah.
I never noticed
you
that.
Never
That's
noticed
so
that?
funny.
They have the part where they talk about it and stuff.
That's so funny.
That's crazy. You didn't know that.
You know what? It goes over my head. I probably watched it on TV too. So
yeah, I would say that's one of the most famous things about the.
Wasn't
the
it also
itself.
like on theirs? It says "Save Me" on the back.
That I don't remember. I just remember Be Eating.
Like on the back of their vehicle. It's SVM or something like that.
I don't know. Shit, I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. I did read something on some sort of article. I'm sorry, I can't remember the article. That apparently the truck was so awful on set that every time the driver was in it, the cabin would fill with smoke.
Yeah.
So every shot they'd have to open it and just air it out.
I'm not surprised that probably leads to they modified the shit out of that thing.
For sure. Or they just caught something that was like for real rusted.
Yeah.
No kidding. Okay, so the next one we can go to is Ash's Oldsmobile from the original Evil Dead. So I just genuinely think that fucking vehicle is iconic as shit.
It had some good shots when you're looking as the demon running through or flying through the woods and stuff and coming up in the vehicle.
Even like when we talked about it earlier about like how the car, like the shot of the car pulling up to the cabin is iconic as shit to me.
And it's that older movie. They had that style to them, definitely.
It was a 1973 Oldsmobile Delta 88 Royale. From what my research says, I don't know this shit by heart. But apparently this Oldsmobile has, or at least the Delta, has made appearances in other Sam Raimi movies ever since. Bloody Disgusting reported that apparently the Oldsmobile hides a lot. I think it was in the recent Multiverse of Madness, that Doctor Strange movie that Sam Raimi did recently. Bruce Campbell was also in that. But yeah, it's pretty neat. I also like the fact that, like, in season 2 of Ash vs. Evil Dead, it becomes possessed. So it kind of fits within our possession shit.
Yes.
Anything to add about the car itself?
No, I don't have a great deal to say about that one, except it definitely, it fits in the role of being, like, again, a unique car that's memorable, but also, like, not too much.
Yeah, like kind of nondescript.
Yeah, they know how to pick something that will stay in mind, but it's also, it doesn't go over the top. Like, it's not the star of the film in kind of the same way that, like, the Jeepers Creepers vehicle is, like, that's a whole other character. It's something that sticks out. And they know how far to go. Like, they went really far in making the Jeepers Creepers car. Like, they made that something crazy.
Oh, absolutely.
Also, to just fit the character and, like, the power, sort of the vehicles of characters in horror movies often will fit their personality in a sense. And that's something I especially want to talk about when we get into talking about Halloween, which is something I'd like to talk about.
Absolutely. The funny thing about that, like with the Army of Darkness, I think he like modifies it because it's got like a fucking spinning blade and a plow and wooden spikes on it. He like rams that in.
It doesn't start off too cool.
No. And then like I said in season 2 of Ash vs. the Evil Dead, the fucking thing chops off fingers. It like blows a hole through somebody. It also it acts like Christine in the car had a baby because like it has like a red
like
filter.
An evil little baby.
Yeah. And it like snorts out fume like a bowl through its like grill. And also like flames are coming out of it as it's like chasing Ash and everybody else around. But yeah, I just think it's kind of a neat, iconic car. I almost feel like Sam Raimi uses it the same way that Joe Dante uses his Gremlins and hides it throughout. Gremlins, not just because he did the movie Gremlins, but the vehicle Gremlins. I think it was called a Gremlin, or maybe it's called something else. Do you know much about those cars, those vehicles?
The little Gremlins.
But like, it's like called a something Gremlin, and like he hides those in his movies too. So I wonder if it's kind of got the same kind of feel to it.
Kind of a stupid question I was thinking. I thought it during like the Christine movie, particularly towards the beginning, but I sort of changed my mind in the end.
No.
If you had a possessed car, you guys think you're keeping it or what? Like, as long as it like stays on the leash, you know, like doesn't go too crazy.
I don't know if I'd keep it.
You know,
I'd be done. I'd be out.
Like, dude, it'd be so nice to like have a car that like has its own personality and stuff. Like for real, like all the stuff that you do, like naming your car and stuff, like having your own like snarky, like sarcastic, pristine type of car. But then like as the movie went on and got like, I was hoping that the car was going to be like helpful for the kid.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I was hoping that only people that had it coming to them were like going to be
the ones that were going to die. Yeah.
Yeah. And then like the car just went a little crazy and I'm like, oh, okay, I'd have to get rid of it.
Oh, well, shit. It's fucking up my life. It's killing all my friends.
Yeah, I don't think I would. I just, if the car had its own personality and stuff, I'm such a like get in and go type guy that no, I'd be like,
Slows you down too.
Yeah, and I need to get in my car and I need to go. That's it. I don't need to fight with you about if you're not having a good day or if you're wanting to go kill somebody, and I'm gonna be like, no, I'm good. There's plenty of people out there that I'm sure would want it.
But at the end of the movie, like, she turns on, like, at the end when she's just like a little cube. It's very funny to me.
Yeah.
It's a very
starts
comedic
to, like,
movie.
fix itself a little bit. Like, it's
It's like the Iron Giant at the end. It's like, I'm gonna compile myself back together. All right.
For me, one of my more iconic is the green van in Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
Of course, from 1974, Tobe Hooper. To me, it's iconic for a couple reasons. A lot of that movie, with their budget being so low.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of the dialogue that takes place in the green van in the beginning really sets up the movie because, of course, you have the hitchhiker coming. You have his creepy shit where he's burning the stuff.
Nubbins, right?
Yeah, and then they throw him out, and then he runs and puts the blood on the side of the on the side of the van.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that van, just is so much of that movie. And of course with oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank on his name. The guy in the wheelchair.
Franklin.
Franklin. When Franklin, is kind of interacting with it too because he has to use the ramp and he's on the wheelchair and stuff too. So that plays a part of it. And not to mention, I never checked if the Texas gas station in Bastrop, which is one of my favorite places on earth, they have a green van. I don't know if it's the exact same one or if it's a replica, but they do. It looks exactly the same. So they have that, which is pretty sweet. I've gotten pictures of it and stuff like that.
If I remember correctly, it's a Ford, isn't it?
It's a 1972 Ford Club wagon.
Okay.
Yes.
So what I'd say about this one is it's definitely it again kind of represents culture and society at the time, and specifically just kind of the culture of like hitchhikers and like
hippies,
driving,
man.
Yeah, driving across the country in like a big van so you can kind of fit all your buddies,
Going to Woodstock. I bet you there was a million of them at Woodstock.
Right, no kidding.
Sure. That's one thing. Is like I would imagine though at the time it would have been like one of those classic like Volkswagen vans.
The ones that you see in
van,
Oh god,
that's what I was
Mystery Machine kind of shit.
Oh my god! So I have a story about it. The bug van or whatever, the Volkswagen. So we had one as a kid, and we hated that thing. And my mom hated driving it even worse. One day we're driving in the horn sticks, and it's going the whole time. The whole time we're driving, and me and my brothers are just fucking laughing in the back so hard. My mom's getting like frustrated and mad, and it's just everyone's thinking that she's honking at them, and it's just like, oh, it was the greatest thing. So yes, we had a Volkswagen van and the horn stuck. It was beautiful.
Angriest hippie van that's ever been.
No kidding.
Yes, that thing was
only hippie van to ever get road rage.
Yeah, and that's the only reason I liked the van. Everything else in that van sucked. It's a pretty terrible van, even though that's not the one we're talking about. But still, it very much is that. Like, I agree with you. That culture, that type of like hippies and hitchhikers. Because hitchhiking used to be a thing. You
absolutely.
You youngsters. Like, just hear about it in movies and shit. Like, I'm
stick
old
out
enough.
Your thumb, stick out that leg.
Yeah, I'm old enough that's how people would travel around. Like, that was actually another form of community.
I genuinely remember seeing it even in the 90s, You
absolutely.
Stick out your thumb.
Yeah, absolutely. That was means of travel for some people. There's so many true crime that I've researched that started out, in the 60s, 70s hitchhikers.
Yeah. The funny thing about, because you mentioned the low budget of the actual movie itself, is that like the van was actually borrowed from their sound guy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And the other thing is too, apparently because of the low budget, they had to choose which vehicle they were going to use that was going to be their equipment loading stuff and like the actual van that the people would use.
So they had two options.
They had two options. That's it. And of course, the rest is history.
They picked the right one.
Yeah, they did.
Especially with how that's funny because like with how the script plays out.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was really written that way or if they modified it for it.
Like, was it more like X, where it was like kind of this weird kind of truck thing?
Yeah, who knows?
That one?
I wonder what the other option was.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah. Like what type of truck was it?
Like I wonder if they had to choose between like having the good vehicle for their equipment. Like I imagine a van like that would have been so handy to put their stuff in.
Right.
Like, I imagine them in like a little tiny car because they had to use the van.
The van's going to be perfect.
Yeah. And I think that there's like the whole beginning sequence where they pick up the weird hitchhiker who worked at the slaughterhouse and everything. He's talking about it and like weirding everyone out, and he whips out his knife and stuff.
Yeah.
That is just such an awesome setting, you know, to be like trapped in a small vehicle going down the road, like no way out, with some guy that you picked up to be nice, and he ends up being a total weirdo. Like,
right? That's
just such a scary place to be in, and like picking that vehicle kind of unlocked that setting for me. Where like in a lot of other films, like a vehicle can't be a setting by itself. Like it's got to be in a setting, you know, like on the road or whatever. But like, you don't know where they're at. It's just the inside of the vehicle.
Yeah.
It's where they are. That's the room they're in.
Which, speaking of which, let's go to Cujo. Because Cujo, literally the whole movie takes place or at least 75% of the movie takes place in the car.
Yeah, absolutely. So Cujo was in 1983. Dee Wallace.
All hail the queen.
Yeah, she's royalty, definitely for sure. It was a 1978 Ford Pinto. Yellow, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yep. A lot of these cars are fucking yellow. The Maitland's car, the Sam Raimi car.
Yeah. And so for me, same thing, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the vehicle becomes a part of the movie, not just a prop, not just an afterthought. Like this movie takes place in the car, but the car is a big part of the suspense, the terror, the knowing that that's all that stands between you and this dog that's gonna kill you and your kid. Awesome. I did one of the better movies made in the 80s for sure.
Absolutely. Dee Wallace is bringing her all in that fucking performance.
She does a great job.
She's played a mother in fucking everything. She was a mother in E.T. She was the mother in I think she was a mom in The Howling. Because she was also in that, where she turns into a werewolf at the end.
Yeah.
But the thing is apparently after this movie, she literally said, I don't ever want to see a Pinto ever again in my whole entire life.
Because all the takes in it and all that, yeah.
And she also was treated for exhaustion 3 weeks after the filming because it was such a physical role. She's swinging shit around. She's trying to protect this kid.
And I imagine, and the one thing that I always thought is it had to be hot as shit in that car.
So while they're filming. That's a funny thing because it was supposed to be hot as shit. It was actually cold.
Really?
It was actually too cold.
They did a great job then, because I would have never known.
They had to put heaters in there.
That's awesome.
In order to make it look because it's supposed to be sweltering.
Yeah.
In the original book, the child dies at the end from dehydration.
Yeah.
Whereas in this one, she is able to kind of break out of it. She gets him into the house, and that sort of thing.
Cujo should have mutilated the kid and had that be the ending.
You're a terrible person. Go fuck yourself.
I like those endings. I like the endings where you think they're going to get free, and then at the last minute, you're just like, nope.
So apparently to make the dogs attack the car, they hid their favorite toys in it.
I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel. Because I'm a dog guy.
Yeah, I know you are. You got little Peter Lopez.
Oh, man.
So what are your thoughts about the car?
Well, I haven't seen the film before, but luckily the Pinto is really iconic in the car community just for exactly how awful it was as a car. They had a really bad defect that caused it so if people got rear-ended in them, they just caught on fire and the car would explode.
That's called special effects.
Because
that's called motivation to get the hell out of the car.
Where the gas tank was placed, it was just really, really precarious. When they got rear-ended, they frequently would blow up.
That's so cool.
And also there's a whole conspiracy theory that's probably true that Ford actually knew that the defect was in the car,
fuck
but
me.
it would cost them more money to pull it and like
roll that baby out. Roll it out.
They just made it anyways, and blew up lots of people. But it's also just an awful car because a tiny engine. Like it's during a time where they're not very good at making tiny engines. It just barely gets up.
Awful car, but very iconic. Everyone has heard of the Ford Pinto.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I think I had a family member that had a fucking Pinto, yeah?
Yeah, to me, I don't know if I'm mistaken or not, but isn't there a rather large back window?
Yeah.
Isn't it like just kind of like almost hatchbackish, but not
yeah,
a large?
That's right. Yep.
Okay, that's what I thought. But yeah, I like the blow up feature. I don't know if you could pay extra for that, but I might kick in extra for that.
The fucking dog takes out and it blows up. That's the end of the movie.
There's just dog guts everywhere. I could go for that ending.
You know what? It works.
I could go for that ending. And then they D. Wallace gets out and has to put the boy out on fire, and he only has 3rd-degree burns, but then they take him to the burn unit, and then he's good?
Yeah.
And of course, clean off the dog guts and stuff?
Yeah, of course. I could go for that. They think it's his wounds. No, that's dog blew up all over him.
That's dog intestine. Oh, that would be great. There needs to be more dog explosions.
So let's go to the safest car in the world, the Maitland's car from Beetlejuice.
So
it was a 1977 Volvo, a 245 DL station wagon, or at least that's what it was described to be. Apparently, back in the day, in the 1980s, the Volvos were considered the safest vehicles in the whole entire world at the time.
Okay.
And if you know anything about Beetlejuice, come on now, the second movie's coming out.
It's September-ish?
Yes, yep.
I don't know.
And the Maitlands basically, there's a whole bunch of, shit that is, surrounding their death. And it's basically a dog walks out in front of them, they turn the car around, they go through the fucking bridge, and that's how they die, is, the dog's balancing on the damn thing, and then, they all fall into the river. Yeah. So, that's the joke in of itself, is that the Volvo was so, the safest thing, they fucking died in it. They drowned.
So, I don't know a ton about this car because it's not really one of the, super cool ones that you know about from history.
It's not Knight Rider.
It's didn't explode, it didn't spontaneously.
Not good.
Bust,
not a good car.
It's not
explode.
really bad, and it's not really good, so,
another one of those family wagons that I think it reminds me of something the Griswolds would travel in.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I can see that. Yeah.
The only thing that I really have to say about it is it is a neat looking car. They're nice looking. I don't know if I'd want to drive one around. It's it looks just a little goofy. There's no way it didn't look a little goofy when they made it.
Absolutely. And the thing is, too, I think just because it's got that bright yellow color, it kind of reflects, you said, goofy. It reflects kind of the Maitland's lifestyle. Sure. In the beginning of the movie of Beetlejuice, they're this happy-go-lucky family. They have this huge, gigantic fucking house that just the two of them live in. Maybe they're going to have children, maybe not. And, they're just this little, happy white couple that, live together. And I just think it's funny because their bumper sticker reads, "I break for animals." That's what kills them.
Yeah.
And I didn't know this fact until I researched it, but the Maitlands are only ever seen alive for 5 minutes and 35 seconds.
They're not alive very long.
No. Rest of the film, they're dead. But the thing is, the biggest plot hole with that whole movie is they could have fucking escaped that car. If you think about the windows were open, the fucking windows were open.
It's not even a high fall.
No, it's it's just a little fucking. What the hell stopped you? Yeah. What was going on? What the fuck happened?
I've always wondered that.
You couldn't get yourself out of the seat belts. Yes, it tipped over upside down, but I would have thought, jiggle the fucking thing. Gotta hold your breath for a second, and jiggle the goddamn thing, you'd swim out. I don't know. But apparently there was a cut of the movie, or at least in the script, where the car door apparently when they on their fall apparently trapped the girl. God, why am I forgetting? Barbara's character. And that's why in the movie she complains about her arm being hurt.
Okay.
Because it was broken.
Yeah.
And it like refixed herself when she was dead. So I thought that was very interesting. And the only thing I can think is like did they hit their head on their way down? That's why they couldn't like jiggle the fucking thing free. I don't know.
It's probably just like different ways that they like edited the film, like you're talking about, like different cuts, different versions where like that was probably accounted for, but then they made some changes and it just didn't quite add up right, like in the final version.
Right. That's the only thing I can think
oversight.
of. Yeah. So, a couple other cars to kind of talk about. Just we'll make this quick because we're kind of ending at the end. Would be personally my favorite car, Dracula's hearse from Monster Squad. That fucking car is cool. Not much is known about it, except for the make and model. It's a 1961 Cadillac hearse. It's got a skull as a hood ornament, and it drives by itself.
What else do you need?
Fucking badass car. It takes out cops.
Yeah.
Neat vehicle. I wanted that vehicle as a kid. And then I really, like, as a funeral director, when I became a funeral director, hearses are awful to drive. I would never recommend them as, like, a personal car.
Yeah, with it being so long, I feel like that'd be a pain in the ass.
Dude, even just a park in a fucking cemetery, you gotta, like, really work that thing. And
Dude,
luckily...
I'd be fucking hopping curbs and shit.
Dude, you could almost accidentally run over a fucking grave and not even know it. It's awful. I hate driving those things.
So, I just think, like, what an awesome vehicle for a horror, like, force of evil, I guess, villain to be driving, you know? Yeah. Like, if they need to just make a movie that's just straight up like, a serial killer that, like, parks his hearse outside your car and then, like, or not outside your house, and then like you're done. You know,
that's
like,
it.
You just look outside the window.
It's almost like the Pale Man.
A hearse parked outside.
And then Phantasm does some of that.
That's what I'm saying. Pale Man.
Oh yeah, sorry, the Tall Man.
Tall Man. Shit.
That's why I'm like Pale Man. What?
I'm thinking about.
That's okay.
Labyrinth, it's like such an awesome idea to play with, and like I don't know, that's sick. Like that's so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that like it just like mouths over fucking people. It's Jesus, okay. And then the last vehicle that we have is the semi-truck from Duel. This was a 1971 Peterbilt semi. The whole thing about Duel we kind of talked about later is that like it was one of Steven Spielberg's first movies. It was originally supposed to be a TV movie. It only took 12 days to film.
Dang.
And the driver's never seen, so it's not actually a possessed vehicle. There's a dude in there.
Okay. I guess I didn't realize that.
And I also saw this on Svengoolie as well, and my dad recommended it to me. It's just a very interesting story. It's a very action-driven, very interesting the way that it's shot. You can tell there was so much care put into different angles. Just some of the angles, I'm like, how the fuck did you manage that? Because it shows the whole vehicle in its entirety. You can't even see the driver. It's just obscured in a certain way. It's like, even without drone shots, how the fuck did you get these shots?
Very creative then.
It's very neat. I don't know if you know anything about the vehicle itself or...
No, I don't know much about that.
Okay, so are you familiar with Duel?
No, I've never seen it. I didn't. Nope. Don't know.
So I highly recommend this movie. It's an interesting just film study in general if you're interested in any of Steven Spielberg's work, because this was one of his first movies.
I hadn't even heard of it.
It's so interesting. It's just basically, it has a limited cast. It's literally like 2 people for most of the movie. And it's this guy being fucking chased.
Yeah.
It's just, he's just being fucking chased by the semi-truck the whole entire way.
So it's a semi-truck that's doing the stalking and stuff?
Yeah. And he can't catch a break. And I think, like, the biggest thing is just, like, he just goes around the vehicle at some point, and that's what sets him off. And he's just, like, following this guy the whole fucking time.
I'd say that's just a really interesting way to shoot a horror movie is... Instead of doing like several encounters and kind of like the action and then like the sort of cool down, like think they're safe and then like the chase again, like just doing one long chase, just taking the part of the horror movie that is supposed to be the scariest and just making it kind of anxiety inducing just by making it just too long, you know? Like,
The Hitcher does a bit of that.
Oh, yeah. I've seen The Hitcher, yeah. That's true. And honestly, I could compare this movie to The Hitcher, no problem. Apparently, Steven Spielberg came across this film from his secretary who read it was like a small novella or like a short story that was in Playboy magazine in 1971 and said, hey, you need to do a movie about this.
Sweet.
So yeah, the rest is kind of history. It's such a good little film. I genuinely like it. Like I said, my dad was the one that showed it to me. He found it at the library. He's like, you need to watch this.
Yeah.
You like Maximum Overdrive? You're going to love this. And yeah, it's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, definitely highly recommend.
Absolutely. Well, we're getting ready to wrap it up, but I was going to give you a chance to plug your socials and stuff. Let people know where they can follow you if you've got anything coming up.
Yeah, how can they find you?
Sure. So all that I have at the moment is my Instagram page, which is at Indie Auto Expo. And what I do at the moment is I take pictures of cars that I see that are cool and sort of do some research and describe it to people that might not necessarily have the background yet, because ultimately my goal is to get more people interested in car culture and just grow the community, because I don't think there's enough that caters towards people that don't understand, and then just people that want to know things about cars. Like, there's a great deal of car photography.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, you never really find anything out about the car. Like, there's never any sort of description that like lets you learn. It's always just like, oh, take a look at this cool thing, you know?
Yeah.
They never tell you about it. And that's what I was lacking, and that's why I wanted to make my page.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. How did you get into your love of cars?
So I think kind of originally what got me into my love of cars is a guy that's sort of a mentor to me. His name's David. And I remember he had this old like Ford Ranger that it's not a super cool truck, but he swapped like a 5-liter from like the old Lincoln in there. And, you know, took off all the emission stuff and just kind of did some work himself. So it was a really fun truck. And I remember he used to like drag race like a motorcycle. Like, he had a crazy built like Harley he used to drag race. And I remember just riding around with him one day, and we were on our way somewhere. I don't remember where it was. And we're driving, like going around a corner, and it's kind of snowy out, and we start to slide pretty bad. And he's talking to me like when we start to slide, and he just stops mid-sentence, looks forward, kind of like whips the steering wheel one way, then whips it the other way, and he's like, you see, Adam, when something like that happens, you've got to stay calm, because most of the time what people do is they overcorrect, and then that sends them off into the ditch. And like, that was my first like adrenaline moment, but then I was also like, that's so cool to just be able to drive something well like that and be confident like the whole time, you know? That's kind of first what got me into like learning about cars and like wanting to just drive them and like have fun myself, you know?
That's cool. That's really neat. I know with my car experience, like I said, it came from my dad. He was big into cars. I think one of his first cars that he ever drew, because he was an artist, I think he drew a Corvette. And it won multiple awards. He did a good job. It was like a red Corvette, beautiful picture that he had framed forever, like in our house. And I just remember always looking at that. And I've always thought it was the coolest thing. And he really got me into cars by collecting Hot Wheels. I still have quite a massive Hot Wheel collection, and so does my sister, just because he just developed that love of kind of cars and showy cars, and we'd go to like local car shows together, and it was just a neat experience just seeing different vehicles and the different makes. Do I remember shit? Absolutely not, but I can see a good car when I know a good car when I see one, you know?
Yeah, that's what I really love about it, is just kind of the closeness of sort of the people that pass it down. And like, when you ask someone how they first got into cars, there's always a very fond memory, and it usually starts with like, there was this one person, and it always boils down to like, they had so much passion about cars that it rubbed off on me. Like, I was around them and it affected me. And that's what I really love about it, is just kind of that, just how the energy gets passed around, you know?
Awesome. No, I love that. That's cool.
Sweet. Well, Wanted to say, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe to all our stuff. I'm still trying to do that 100 subscriber giveaway.
That would be awesome,
We're
dude.
getting up there. We're going to get there. It's going to be sweet. I'm adding more shit to it all the time, so it's going to be awesome. So don't forget to do that for sure.
Absolutely.
With that being said,
Look out for each other, and good night, cellar dwellers. Bye-bye.
Bye.